What's going on, watchers? Will here with another Cloverfield Paradox video for you, and today we're talking about, well, the Cloverfield Paradox. What it is both in and outside of the canon of the film. So let's try and get right down to it. Now, within the context of the film, we are introduced to a world suffering from a global energy crisis. So, as a result, we get the crew of the Cloverfield station whose job it is to use the Shepard particle accelerator to potentially create an unlimited supply of energy for the whole planet. The paradox itself is theorized, if it fails, will end up creating a dimensional rift that alters space-time, not only affecting matter in reality, but also opening holes between dimensions. As we see in the film, spoilers, but this happens directly to our crew and possibly indirectly to the rest of the surrounding Earths and the franchise as a whole. On the ship, things get weird as the paradox unfolds. Something crashes in the city where Michael, Ava Hamilton's husband, is back on Earth. Also, the worms that were in a tank disappear and there's a rampant screaming in the walls. The dimensional tear caused by the Shepard accelerator brings Mina Jensen from what we will refer to as Earth 2 into the Cloverfield station from Earth 1. Confused yet? It gets worse. The goings-on of the ship get stranger and stranger. In one scene, when the worms that were much larger in their tank disappear, they reappear in a lunatic Volkov who seizes up and dies before puking them out of his body, showing that they got transported there as well as the gyrosphere. Speaking of the gyrosphere, the only reason we knew that it was in his body was because seemingly the dismembered yet sentient arm of Mundi appears on the ship and writes them a note. Mundi later being killed by a rogue residue of magnetism that is theorized to be the representation of a magnet being used to collect the crashed Cloverfield station from Earth 2. So, when the magnet pulled up the crashed ship, the still floating ship was affected as well. Now, when it was initially mentioned at the start of the film, it was said that monsters, creatures, demons, a lot of things, could potentially crawl through as a result of the paradox. And this looks like it may be the case, seeing as a Clover monster causes citywide destruction around the time that the Shepard accelerator was overloaded. And considering that this film takes place in the future of 2028, that means that it could have put things in the past too, as well as other dimensions. There are several theories about the timeline floating about, but if we assume for a second that the Earth from each Cloverfield movie thus far is in its own reality, this is the catalyst. When the Shepard accelerator overloaded and ignited the Cloverfield Paradox, it sent one monster in the past of Earth 1 that would potentially wake up in New York in 2008. It sent different aliens to invade Earth in a different reality and possibility of 10 Cloverfield Lane, and it sent a much larger and more destructive Clovers to the main Earth of the Cloverfield Paradox. So, the Cloverfield Paradox is not just a title or an event, the film itself is a paradox. As it exists as a sequel to the other films that it is set in the future of 2028, but it is also a prequel wherein it is the catalyst of the events to the other films in the series thus far, and may possibly include Overlord as well once that movie is released. So yeah, the Cloverfield Paradox is really true to its interesting and kind of confusing name. But I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below on the Cloverfield Paradox, and any other examples that I probably missed. Just let me know. While you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, Hybrid Network, and also check out our Patreon and website for more content. I'm Will, and I'll see you next time.